What's up YouTube? Back with another video, and today I'm gonna talk about competitive 2K and why I feel like 2K is not a good competitive game and why I don't play 2K competitively. And when I say competitively, I just mean like tournaments, wagers, money games, stuff like that, and why I don't really bother with that anymore. I remember back in 2K14, I used to play in Virgin Gaming ladders when 2K had Virgin Gaming integration built into the game. So you will go on Virgin Gaming, you'll find, ladders, money games, tournaments, whatever, and find a match, and then you would load up 2K, go in the menus, go to Virgin Gaming, and it'll throw you right into the game or into the lobby waiting for your opponent. It'll have all the rules set and everything ready to go. All you had to do was just pick your team and play. So I remember doing that, but since then I haven't really got into 2K competitively, even though I wanted to. Like, I wanted to go on Gamer Saloon and Players Lounge and play, these wages, money games, tournaments and stuff like that, but I just don't like 2K on that level. And even when people reach out to me saying that they want to play me or want to wager me, I'm just like, nah, just because, like I said, I don't like 2K on that level. And I'm not gonna talk about everything, I'm just gonna mention a lot of the things that I think about, but we can also keep this discussion going in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel. And like I said, I'm not gonna talk about everything, so there's gonna be things that I miss, so we could talk about it in the comments. And the gameplay is just some random gameplay, you don't gotta worry too much about it, but I will be showing things on screen as I talk about them here and there. And I'm mostly talking about 5v5, so that's play now, and you could throw my team in there as well, but I will be mentioning Pro-Am, 2K League, Park, and just the other modes as well. So with that being said, let's get into it. So one thing I think about a lot is the lack of competitive sliders in a competitive rule set. And I think about this a lot because I feel like this is something that 2K can actually implement, because they already have the things in place that they need to do it. And there's a lot of other things that's wrong with the game, like, network issues and network latency, especially when playing online. The game just being very random and inconsistent, and there's a lot of things that you just can't control. And for a competitive environment, the user should have control over as many things as possible, but like I said, there's just so many random things that you just can't control, and it gets to the point where you're playing against your opponent, but you also feel like you're playing against the game itself. Like, you shouldn't have to feel that way, especially in a competitive environment. You shouldn't have to worry about your AI doing something dumb all the time, like sprinting out the corner, leaving an open corner three, or just leaving somebody wide open. You shouldn't be in a situation where you make the right play, but you just get the wrong animation, and then your offensive or defensive possession is just cooked after that. Or vice versa, you can do something wrong and get bailed out by a good animation, and everything is all good. And then you got, all the cheese and all the little stupid things that can be exploited. You got the whole algorithm conspiracy. So there's a lot of things that's wrong with the game, but 2K would need to set forth the proper amount of time, money, and resources in order to address those things. And I don't know if they're gonna do that. Well, they're not gonna do that. So to me, I feel like the next best thing is at least having competitive sliders in the competitive rule set, because you already have a lot of these things in place. Because when you go into the settings and you look at the sliders, where you can see, rookie, pro, all-star, superstar, hall of fame, they can add another one and call it competitive and actually change everything in those sliders to make the game at least feel more competitive, because hall of fame is the best alternative, but even it's not perfect, and it's honestly gotten a lot easier throughout the years. So I don't see why they don't go in these sliders and actually really adjust these things for a competitive environment. And even if they don't want to do it, they can have people do it, because there's people that, they either make videos or content about, these type of sliders, or people that run my leagues. I know that they adjust these sliders a lot, so they can get some people together to figure out what would be the best competitive sliders for the game. And this is something that 2K desperately needs, because the game at its core is not competitive. So why are we using the same sliders and rules as regular public matches online? And 2K will tell you that. If you ask them, who's the game made for? Is it made for competitive players? Is it made for casual average players? They'll tell you the game is made for everybody, which is fine. But why are we playing on those same sliders and rules in a competitive setting? And this works for some games. Some games at their core are good competitively, and they don't really change much from public matches to ranked to competitive. But 2K is not one of those games. And a prime example is Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a relatively pick up and play casual type of shooter, but in competitive, they ban so many things. It's at a point where it's a completely different game. Like regular public matches are 6v6, but in competitive it's 4v4. They don't play all the maps, they don't play all the modes. They ban a lot of weapon classes like shotguns, launchers, LMGs. They ban a lot of equipment. They ban a lot of attachments. You have a respawn timer. Like there's so many things that's different than public matches, but they needed to get rid of all of that stuff and really change the game in order to make it competitive. So I feel like for 2K, jump shots should be green or miss. I feel like with how easy shooting has gotten, the whole game should be like that, but I understand that they can't really do that because you'll alienate a lot of the player base because everybody can't green consistently. But for a competitive environment, I feel like if you don't green a shot, it shouldn't go in. And all those fake greens that your player celebrates but you didn't actually green the shot, turn those into real greens, and all the other non-greens miss. This way you get rid of a lot of randomness, and like I said, you want as little randomness as possible in the competitive environment. And as far as sliders go, there's a lot of other things that they can adjust as well. But moving on to rules, there should be things that you are and are not allowed to do and things that you are and are not allowed to use. In 2K, it's basically the Wild West. Like if it's there, you can do it, and I don't think that's right. And there's a lot of things you could talk about here, like the whole on-ball, off-ball debate. This has been a hot topic in a 2K for years now. Should you be able to off-ball in a competitive environment? And when I say off-ball, I just mean like not guarding the ball at all for a prolonged period of time. Like if you on the ball and then like you switch off to like your wings to, you know, get them in position to like pinch a ball handler trying to drive or something, or you switch off to your center in pick and roll situations to make sure you hedge properly and everything. That's all of that is cool. But like you got people that will literally never guard the ball. They will stand somewhere in the corner or stand on the center somewhere off the ball for a prolonged period of time, the whole possession, the whole game or whatever. I feel like you should never be able to do that in a competitive environment. But at the same time, how do you police it? You know, do you get disqualified? Do you get points taken away? Like what happens? I don't know. This is something that they have to discuss. But yeah, the on-ball, off-ball thing should be addressed. You also have zones. Should you be allowed to play zone? I don't know. I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just saying that's a question that has to be asked. You also have like dribble glitches and just like glitched animations and stuff like that. I remember in 2K21, current gen 250K My Team tournament, people were using the speed boost glitch. And it's like, how are y'all allowed to use the speed boost glitch in a competitive tournament sponsored by 2K themselves? Like that's insane to me, which is why that tournament has always been garbage to me because it lacks competitive integrity. I remember when they first created the tournament and I had made a video about the things that they would need to address if they're gonna do this, and it was one of the first videos that I ever made and it really didn't get any views, but they didn't address those things. And I just feel like that tournament is just a money grab for them and not really about finding the best player, because giving away $250,000 is just a drop in the bucket for them when you look at the amount of money that they'll make on the microtransactions that people will purchase in order to get the team that they need in order to be able to compete. And with them not really adjusting like sliders and gameplay and stuff like that, the more people that feel like they can win and compete, the more money that they'll potentially make. So that's what I think why they have that tournament in place. But going back to the rule set, there's just a lot of other little things too that I feel like should be part of the rules, like injuries. This year in the 250K My Team tournament, somebody's player got injured. Like, why y'all playing with injuries on in a tournament of this caliber? And then you also have things like actual game rules. They use the same rules as the NBA, which is fine, but they have to be adjusted because regular NBA games are 12-minute quarters, whereas in 2K you're only playing 5-minute quarters. So things like timeouts, like why we have 7 timeouts available to us. 7 timeouts is fine for a regular NBA game, but 7 timeouts in 5-minute quarters is just way too much. Like, why we got so many timeouts? It should be like 5. And this is how people be playing their starters the whole game too. If you manage your timeouts and, you know, use them well, you can play your starters the whole game and not have to worry about fatigue, which is something I feel like you should have to worry about. Like, if you want to play your starters heavy minutes, you should suffer some type of fatigue penalty. But like I said, if you manage your timeouts, like, your players will almost never get tired. Also, fouls and getting into the bonus is something that should be part of the game. Like, it's part of basketball and it's part of the real game, managing fouls and being aggressive, trying to get into the bonus as early as possible. But if you're the defense, trying to avoid getting into the bonus so you don't give up free throws. But that has never ever been part of 2K. Like, I don't ever remember playing a game where a player fouled out. And you also rarely get into the bonus early, even if you're getting fouled a lot, because it takes, I believe, like 5 team fouls in order to get into the bonus. But you're never really gonna get fouled 5 times in 3 minutes, because it's 5 fouls before the 2-minute mark, and then under 2 minutes, I think it's like after the third or something. But yeah, like, you'll almost never get into the bonus, even if like you're getting fouled a lot. And I feel like you should be penalized for fouling too much. And you have people that will foul you on a break so you don't get an easy basket, which is fine. But like I said, you're never penalized for it, because you rarely get into the bonus and you rarely get a player in foul trouble. And reducing the number of fouls you get is something that I felt like they should have did at the beginning of the game when on-ball steals were really strong. So the first time they nerfed the on-ball steals, like, I was like cool with it, because you did steal the ball a little bit too consistently. But instead of nerfing them a second time and basically nerfing them into the ground, they should have just gave you less fouls to work with. So if you wanted to reach, you really had to run the risk of getting called for a foul and potentially fouling out or just being in foul trouble. But that's never the case in 2K. In 2K, they know that a lot of like the rules and stuff need to be adjusted, because in the 2K league, they do adjust things a little bit. I know they use pre-made builds, so like you can't just create your own build and use it. Like, you have to use one of the league created archetypes. I think they banned certain badges as well. Like, I'm pretty sure sniper got banned, and there may be another couple badges that got banned as well. They get 5 timeouts. And it's not really major, but again, like, it shows that they know that some things have to be adjusted. Why aren't these adjustments made for every mode? And so moving on from like sliders and rules and stuff, it's just like, as you play more, get better, and play on higher levels, you start to realize just how broken the game is. And I feel like it gets less and less about basketball and more about exploiting the game's flaws, whether they're skillful or not. So this year you got the whole paint mash thing. If you get into the dead zone, like right under the rim, throw 5 pump fakes, because the game doesn't call 3 seconds, you could get an easy layup very consistently. And a lot of the times, you know, going down there and just throwing a couple pump fakes will cause the AI defenders to run into the paint, giving up open threes. And, you know, a lot of people know this, so they'll try to exploit that. There's people in my team I know that do this. They will take their ball handler and literally run into one of the off-ball defenders so that they can get stuck and pass it off to their shooter to get an open shot. Like, come on, bro. Like, what is that? Like, you got people that know that will do that to try and score. And you got other things like crabbing. Even though crabbing is a skill that not everybody can do and it does take practice, it's still a game flaw, because doing a move to get the defender behind you isn't necessarily bad. It's just the fact that it's uncontestable 90% of the time. And this is something that's essential, especially for a lot of pro-am guards and, you know, stage guards. Like, they've mastered the crab, which is, again, like I said, it's a skill that's like not easy to do, and it does take practice, but at the same time, it's still a game flaw. And like I mentioned earlier, you got like, you know, certain animations, whether they're glitched or not, and you realize just how much animations influence the game. And that's why a lot of animations are so popular, because they're just so much better than the rest. So that's why you see a lot of, you know, guards in the park or stage pro and wherever use things like Derrick Rose size up, Trae Young fade, Trae Young crossover, if they still use that. I don't know if there's any new animations out that's better. The Curry slide, those quick dunks, because they're almost unblockable. Base 3 jump shot, because it's the fastest jump shot on the game. Even in my team, you got players looking for cars that have shifty or quick dribble style, because you get good speed boost animations. Like, you realize just how much of the game is influenced by animations. And like I said, you're getting further away from actual basketball and more about exploiting game flaws and abusing animations, which to some degree is part of like getting better and learning the game. But at the same time, it's like, when does it become too much? And 2K's handling of exploits and game flaws and game balancing issues is questionable. Like, when it's an actual like glitch or game flaw, instead of fixing it, they ask themselves, all right, how many people know about this and how many people can take advantage of it? And if the number of people is small, they probably won't even touch it. But it's like, bro, if it's a glitch or something that's unintended, it should be fixed. Like, why do a million people have to know about it in order for you to fix it? But if it were some type of VC glitch or something like that, it would be fixed in 2 hours. And like I said earlier, the game lacks competitive integrity, and I don't like 2K on a competitive level, so I don't even be caring. I'm just out here chilling, having fun with the game, honestly. You see the content, I'm just playing with different playbooks, different teams, different players, different play styles. Just kind of chilling, doing my thing. And I've been enjoying the game a lot more when I stopped caring so much about being competitive at it. As you see, I haven't even attempted a run at the GOAT League yet. Like I said, I'm just chilling, enjoying the game. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Like I said, there's a lot more things that I probably could have talked about, but that's pretty much it. We could keep this going in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel. And as always, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more content.